All right, so I'm back with another Ask Ace a question, man. So I'm gonna get straight into it, man. If you wanna ask a question that you wanna get answered anonymously, hit the link in the description. But the question is, what make you think you're a Jew? We're gonna go into the Bible and we're gonna touch on it because it's not something that I came up with. I was taught, you know what I'm saying, some history that wasn't taught to us growing up, and that's how I know I'm a Jew. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 16. For the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. So the Spirit is the Bible. So he said the Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit. So when the scriptures coming out, right, when the prophecies are being read, you should be able to, how can I put the puzzle pieces together to say, okay, this happened to my people. My spirit bear witness with the prophecies of the Bible. Let's go and get some more right quick. Let's go to Christ. This is Luke chapter 21 and I'm gonna start at verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Because throughout the scriptures, the Israelites was being scattered. You know what I'm saying? They was going into different captivity. So a lot of Jews was living in other areas. You can read about that in Acts chapter 2. You had Jews coming from a whole bunch of different nations coming back to keep the feast of Pentecost. Okay, so Christ telling them, he said, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. So the question might be, why was Jews deep off into Africa? Why was Jews in Spain and you know, in Portugal? Why was Jews all over in these different regions? I'm gonna read it again. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, because Christ commanded them to leave. These were commandment keepers. These were the followers of Christ. Those were the ones that got up and left when they saw these different things taking place. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. So he's telling them, if you're not here, don't come back. Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. So I'm gonna go back into the Old Testament to show some of the different things that was already written that had to happen to the Israelites. So he said, these be the days of vengeance. So in 70 AD, when the Romans circled up, destroyed Jerusalem, Christ had already told them, y'all need to leave. It was some stuff that had to take place after that had to be fulfilled. Verse 23, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. This is the main point that I wanted out of this verse. So Christ said that the Israelites, the Jews, was going to have to go into captivity to all nations. Let me read it one more time. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. Now, to my understanding, I haven't seen no history of quote unquote Jewish people being led captive into all nations. I've never seen that. Now, from a biblical base, we understand that the Jews, are melanated black people. We understand that. So what group of people, went into captivity into all nations? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 right quick, just to get some of these things that Christ was talking about. He said that all things that was written be fulfilled. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So this is Moses giving, the Israelites the law, statutes, and commandments. And then he gave us the judgments for breaking the law, and he gave us the rewards for keeping the law. When you read verse 1 through 14, these is all the good things for keeping the law. Verse 15 down is all the judgments for not keeping the law. So you can pretty much, let's just go to it right quick. Let's just get the verse. I'm gonna start at verse 45. So we just got the understanding, if we break the commandments, curses was gonna happen to us. Verse 45, what was the reason for these curses? Verse 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee, And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So the curses was placed on us for a sign. So when you read throughout the scriptures, at some point in time we was gonna lose our nationality. They was gonna strip us of who we actually are. You can read that in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 3. You can read that in Psalms chapter 83. You can read that in Deuteronomy 28:37. You can read that in Isaiah 60. I think it's Isaiah 65. Is in multiple different areas where we were stripped of our nationality, our race. So we don't know who we are. So verse 46, I'm going to read it again. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So the curses was going to be on us. It's almost, I put it like this. It was like breadcrumbs to lead us back to who we are. So when you hear about in throughout history, it was illegal for us to read the Bible. We always had supervision reading the Bible, because a lot of people, especially like you read about people like Nat Turner, when you actually start digging in this Bible, you start putting the pieces together, you start realizing really fast, we the people of the book. All right, let's get some more real quick. Let's touch on some of these curses. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. And thy sons, and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. So, to my understanding, I haven't seen Jewish people, sons and daughters taken from them and forced to serve slavery. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen, because you can even see it now. They still punishing people for people like the Nazis and stuff that had something to do with the Holocaust. They still coming to punish them. After all these years, they still arresting people for what they had to do for the hands that they played in the Holocaust. At no point through our history have we been able to get our children back. We still got people, like, you got to think about it. You got family that you don't even know about because they got sent to whole other states. That's the history of us. Let me read it again. Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And they show us this all the time. They show us our history all the time in these movies. I know a lot of people get mad at the slavery movies, but these slavery movies literally put these verses, they give us imagery to these verses. You ever seen Roots? It's a lot of that in there. But it's the part. He said, and there shall be no might in thine hand. What military do we have? We don't have one here. We don't have no might to get our kids back in them, especially during that time. This was a curse put on us. This is an example of us being the biblical Jews. Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou, let me start at verse 47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. So God put us in a position where all we had to do was keep the commandments. So you got to think about it, right? We get on these YouTube streets all the time. We talk about the single parent households. We talk about, like, even just looking at the Tyree Nichols situation, right? All these commandments that we break on a day-to-day basis, that's all we had to do. We had to just keep the commandments. So we don't kill each other. Don't steal from each other. Marry your wife. Take care of your kids. You know what I'm saying? Keep the holy days that he gave us. You know what I'm saying? Just follow, like, just simple, just live a good life. That's all you have to do. But nah, what do our people like to do? We like to commit adultery, right? We like to kill. We like to steal, right? We like to lie. All these different things where that's all you had to do was not do that stuff and you would have been fine. So in turn, for not wanting to serve God, just keep the commandments, take care of your wife, take care of your kids, don't lie, don't steal, don't kill, right? Verse 48, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Now, to my understanding, I've never seen any Jewish people with yokes of iron on their neck. Now, when you type in yokes of iron on Google, the first images that pop up is us. Let me read it again. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. So he said, okay, you didn't want to do what I told you to do. All he told us to do was to keep the commandments. That's it. We didn't want to do that. That's what it means to serve the Lord, is to keep the commandments. So he said, okay, y'all don't want to follow what I'm telling y'all to do. I'm going to send people that hate y'all so you can serve them, right? In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. So he said, when you want something to eat, you got to go to them. When you thirsty, you got to go to them. When you want some clothes, you got to go to them. He said, and in want of all things, because to my understanding, especially in America, you can't drive a car without getting a driver's license in most cases. You can't buy a house without them giving you the okay in most cases. You can't get a degree without going to their schools. You know what I'm saying? You gotta follow their curriculums. You gotta everything you want in this society, right? You want to open up a business, you gotta get a business license from who? It is what it is. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That's our history. That's our history. So we was taught growing up, especially in school, 16, 19, we came over here as slaves. They never told us why. They never told us that we went to war over there in Africa and lost. They didn't tell us that part. They didn't tell us the reasoning, you know what I'm saying, why them people was even coming against us in the first place. They never told us that. The Bible got those answers. Let's get some more. Verse 64. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, because what other race of people you know was scattered into all nations? That sounds like our history to me. From one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Because when you look at specifically black people, the main religions that we into is Christianity and Islam. These were two religions that was not a thing when Moses was giving us this. Christianity, which is that wood, and Islam, which is the stone. What other race of people you know got scattered and they people believe in all these different things? That sounds like our history to me. I don't know no Jewish people that was scattered into all nations to serve slavery. That sounds like us to me. Let's get the big one. This is verse 68. Now how, he said we were scattered into all nations. How did that take place? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So let me read it again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, to my understanding, I don't know no Jewish people that was sent into slavery on slave ships. To my understanding, that's our history. I know it's like a little doctrine nowadays. They're trying to say that never happened. It happened. It's too many records showing that they had these manifestos showing slaves on these boats. Let me read it again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. When you read Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2, it show you what Egypt mean according to the scriptures. Because if you know anything about the Bible, it like to use metaphors. It like to use allegories and similitudes. Egypt is synonymous with slavery, bondage, captivity. Let me read it again. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, slavery again with ships. Because we understand that the Israelites were serving slavery under Pharaoh in Egypt with ships. So what race of people you know went into slavery on slave ships? By the way whereof I spake unto thee. So they talked about the Jewish people, they went into the Holocaust on trains. That don't sound like slave ships to me. And to my understanding, they wasn't serving slavery during the Holocaust. Let's keep reading. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We wasn't going back to the actual landmass of Egypt. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. I don't know no other race of people that was put up on auction blocks after getting off a boat to serve as slaves. If you know some other races that was sent to a multitude of nations, to a multitude of countries, and sold, auctioned off as slaves, I've never learned that history. So when you ask the question, what make me think I'm a Jew? The Bible. This is our history. This is the stuff that they weren't teaching us growing up. These are the things that let you know that we the Jews. Because this was the breadcrumbs to bring us back to who we are. Let's get some more small prophecies that outside of that. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. Because no other race of people, most races of people know where they come from. Most nations understand who their God is, what their homeland is. We the only race of people that don't know. We have to be taught at the end of the day. So why do I think I'm a Jew? It's written in the scriptures. I can remember asking the questions like, why did we go into slavery? Okay, if we Africans too, why would they sell us into slavery? Well, reading the scriptures, we ain't Africans. We're not Hamites. We are not. We might look the same in terms of skin tone, but we not the same people. So when you read the scriptures, when you read Exodus, when you read throughout Numbers and Deuteronomy, how we was going through the Philistines, when you read the book of Joshua and Judges, we didn't have no good dealings with Hamites and African nations. So it makes sense that they would do that to us. Let's get some more. There's another prophecy for that point to us. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. Now, what race of people do you know that their children are out of order like ours? What race of people do you know who most of the homes are being led by women? That sounds like black people to me. Let me read it again. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. Because you can look in the black community, when it started being more single mother-led houses, our communities went downhill drastically. What other do you know any other races of people who have a high single mother rate? Do you know any other race of people where they don't respect men the way black people get down? This is prophetic for us. Now, there's other precepts I can go to prove that we the Jews, that we the Israelites. But, it is what it is. I think it's in Daniel 9. This is my last one. This is Daniel chapter 9 and verse. I'm going to start at verse 10. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets, because that's all we was given the law. We was given the law to govern ourselves. The Bible is black people's constitution. The same way America got their bylaws and they got they statutes and judgments. They got their constitution. We got ours. Ours was just called the book of the law. They call it now the Bible. We was given the law by the prophets to keep. We was given the laws, then we was given the judgments. We don't like following the law. It is what it is. So this is what happened to us. Verse 11, yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. That's what happened, right? So even Daniel is explaining that this thing happened to us, right? Verse 12, and he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. Because they say these like the victim Olympics, right? They like to get into these bags where they want to talk about the bad things that happen to other races of people. Biblically, it's nobody has went through more atrocities than the children of Israel. I want to read that part one more time. By bringing upon us a great evil, for under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. No other race of people went through the things that I just read about. What other race of people was put on slave ships and auctioned off to serve slavery? What other race of people had their sons and their daughters taken from them in slavery and they had no power to get them back? All you can do is cry. All you can do is try to beg and plead to try to get this man not to sell your kids off. What other race of people got their names changed? right? What other race of people you know doing that? Most races, if you like, let's just say you go to China, you're not gonna see a Chinese man with the last name Brown. You're not gonna see a Chinese man with the last name Jones. You're not gonna go to Iraq and see an Arab man named Johnson. You're not gonna see that. But when you read Deuteronomy 28 and 37, that happened to us. Just saying. That's what proved that we the Jews. That's how I know that I'm a Jew. That's how I know. I'm gonna read this again. This is Romans chapter 8, verse 16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. That's how I know I'm a child of God, because according to the Bible, the children of Israel are the children of God. That's in Romans 9. That's how I know. So I don't think I'm a Jew. I know I'm a Jew because the scriptures and the history align. At the end of the day, that's how I know. That's how I know I'm a Jew, because I can read and I can understand the scriptures now. So all praise to the Most High for the prophets coming back on the earth to give us the understanding and teach us how to read the scriptures, because a lot of people don't know how to read the Bible to unlock it. A lot of people wasn't given the understanding to unlock it. So in situations like this, it's good, you know what I'm saying, to have people ask you questions like this so you can put it out there. But it is what it is. But there's other places that you could go to prove that we the Jews. But I just wanted to keep this as short as possible because I could teach on this for an hour. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. And if you got a question that you want to get answered, hit the link, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put your name out there because I ain't gonna know. If you hit the link, I'm not gonna know who asked the question. So y'all let me know. I'm not.